Immunocytometry. Immunocytometry, the cytometry of lymphocytes. Immunocytopathological, immunocytological and pathological. Immunocytoid activities, plural of immunocytoid activity. Immunocytoid activity, immunocytological activity. Immunocytostaining, synonym of immunohistostaining. Immunocytotoxic, cytotoxic to the immune system. Immunocytotoxicity, the condition of being cytotoxic to the immune system. Immunodebilitated, having a debilitated immune system. Immunodegrade, to undergo immunodegradation. Immunodegraded, having immunodegradation. Immunodegrades, third person singular simple present indicative of immunodegrade. Immunodegradation, decoration use of decoys in the presence of antibodies. Immunodefective, having a defective immune system. Immunodefense, immunological defense. Immunodefenses, plural of immunodefense. Immunodefensive, related to immunodefense. Immunodeficiencies, plural of immunodeficiency. Immunodeficiency, a depletion in the body's natural immune system or in some component of it. Immunodeficient, exhibiting immunodeficiency. Immunodegradation, degradation of or by the immune system. Immunodensities, plural of immunodensity. Immunodensitometric, relating to immunodensitometry. Immunodensitometry, immunological densitometry. Immunodensity, the density of antibodies found during Western blot analysis, etc. Immunodeplete, to undergo immunodepletion. Immunodepleted, from which certain proteins have been removed by the use of antibodies. Immunodepleting, causing immunodepletion. Immunodepletion, the removal of certain proteins by the use of antibodies. Immunodepletions, plural of immunodepletion. Immunodepletive, relating to or causing immunodepletion. Immunodeposit, a deposit typically of immunoglobulins as a result of an immune response. Immunodeposition, deposition of protein, etc. as a result of an immune response. Immunodepositions, plural of immunodeposition. Immunodeposits, plural of immunodeposit. Immunodepress, to cause or to undergo immunodepression. Immunodepressant, any drug that causes immunodepression. Immunodepressants, plural of immunodepressant. Immunodepressant, afflicted with immunodepression. Immunodepressing, causing immunodepression. Immunodepression, a deficiency in one or more components of the immune system. Immunodepressions, plural of immunodepression. Immunodepressive, causing immunodepression. Immunodeprived, deprived of an immune system. Immunodermatology, study of skin immune system. Immunodestructive, destructive to the immune system. Immunodetect, to detect the presence of a specific antigen by the use of antibodies. Immunodetectable, identifiable by means of immunodetection. Immunodetected, simple past and past participle of immunotect. Immunodetecting, present participle and gerund of immunotect. Immunotection, the use of antibodies to identify proteins or other chemicals. Immunotections, plural of immunotection. Immunoterminant, an immunological determinant. Immunoterminants, plural of immunoterminant. Immunodeviation, immunological tolerance to allogeneic cells. Immunodeviations, plural of immunodeviation. Immunodiagnosis, plural of immunodiagnosis. Immunodiagnosis, diagnosis using immunodiagnostics, serodiagnosis. Immunodiagnostic, describing any diagnostic test that exploits an immune response. Immunodiagnostics, any of several diagnostic techniques that make use of an immune response. Immunodiffusion, a technique used to detect the reaction between an antigen and an antibody by observing the behavior of a combination of such species as they diffuse through a gel. Immunodiffusions, plural of immunodiffusion. Immunodimetric, misspelling of immunometric. Immunodiscordance, the condition of being immunodiscordant. Immunodiscordant, immunologically discordant. Immunodisruptive, that disrupts the immune system. Immunodissect, to carry out immunodissection. Immunodissected, simple past and past participle of immunodissect. Immunodissection, the dissection, isolation, and identification of cells by means of immunology, typically by using specific monoclonal antibodies. Immunodissections, plural of immunodissection. Immunodistribution, the distribution of proteins in response to an immune reaction. Immunodistributions, plural of immunodistribution. Immunodominance, the dominance of an antigen over all others in its ability to produce an immune response. Immunodominancy, immunodominance. Immunodominant, relating to the epitope of the molecule that provokes the most intense immune response. Immunodominantly, in an immunodominant manner. Immunodomination, synonym of immunodominance. Immunodot, an analytical technique similar to Western blot. Immunodots, plural of immunodot. Immunodouble stain, to immunostain with two staining agents. Immunodouble stains, third person singular simple present indicative of immunodouble stain. Immunodynamic, relating to immunodynamics. Immunodynamics, the dynamics of the immune system. Immunodysfunction, a dysfunction of the immune system. Immunodysfunctions, plural of immunodysfunction. Immunodysregulation, dysfunction of part of the immune system. Immunodysregulatory, relating to or causing immunodysregulation. Immunocological, relating to immunocology. Immunocology, the study of interactions between immunology and ecology. Immunodidded, having undergone immunodidding. Immunodidding, the modification of the immunogenicity of a cancer following immunovirulence. Immunoeducation, education of an immune system to recognize harmless allergens and avoid an immune reaction. Immunofactor, an immunological effector. Immunofactors, plural of immunofactor. Immunoelectrochemiluminescence, immunological electrochemiluminescence. Immunoelectrochemiluminescence, alternative form of immunoelectrochemiluminescence. Immunoelectrode, an immunoelectric electrode, immunoelectrodes, plural of immunoelectrode. Immunoelectron, only used in immunoelectron microscopy. Immunoelectron microscopy, the use of electron microscopy to study aspects of the immune system. Immunoelectronic, by means of immunoelectron microscopy. Immunoelectrosmophoresis, counter-immunoelectrophoresis. Immunoelectrosmophoretic, of or relating to immunoelectrosmophoresis. Immunoelectrophoresis, plural of immunoelectrophoresis. Immunoelectrophoresis, a technique using a combination of protein electrophoresis and an antigen-antibody interaction to separate mixtures of proteins and identify them. Immunoelectrophoretic, relating to immunoelectrophoresis. Immunoelectrophoretically, by means of immunoelectrophoresis. Immunoelectrotransfer, the use of electroporation in immunology. Immunoembolization, embolization together with stimulation of the immune system. Immunoembolizations, plural of immunoembolization. Immunoendocrine, relating to the immune system and endocrine system. Immunoendoscopy, the use of endomicroscopy to detect specific proteins via labeled antibodies. Immunoengineering, immunological engineering. Immunoenhance, immunologically enhance. Immunoenhancement, enhancement of immunity, enhancement of the immune system. Immunoenhancements, plural of immunoenhancement. Immunoenhancer, anything that enhances the immune system. Immunoenhancers, plural of immunoenhancer. Immunoenhancing, that enhances the operation of the immune system. Immunoenrich, to increase the amount of antibodies in something. Immunoenrich, simple past enhancing, that enhances the operation of the immune system. Immunoenrich, to increase the amount of antibodies in something. Immunoenrich, simple past and past participle of immunoenrich. Immunoenrichment, an increase in the amount of antibodies in something. Immunoenrichments, plural of immunoenrichment. Immunoenzymatic, that uses enzymes in an immunological assay. Immunoenzymatically, by means of immunoenzymatic assay. Immunoenzyme, synonym of immunoenzymatic. Immunoenzymetric, relating to the measurement of immunoenzymic processes. Immunoenzymic, relating to or employing immunoenzymes. Immunoenzymometric, describing the enzymometric analysis of antigens or antibodies. Immunoepidemiologic, of or pertaining to immunoepidemiology. Immunoepidemiological, relating to immunoepidemiology. Immunoepidemiology, the epidemiology of the immune system. Immunopitope, synonym of epitope. Immunopitopes, plural of immunopitope. Immunoscape, the failure of the immune system to eliminate all pathogens. Immunovacin, any of a family of immunovasive proteins expressed by some viruses. Immunovacins, plural of immunovacin. Immunoevasion, the evasion of a host's immune response. Immunoevasions, plural of immunoevasion. Immunovasive, of or pertaining to immunoevasion. Immunovasiveness, the condition of being immunovasive. Immunoxidatoxic, relating to immunoxidatoxicity. Immunoxidatoxicity, excidotoxicity is the result of an immune reaction. Immunoexpress, of a protein to express as a result of an immune response. Immunoexpress, simple past and past participle of immunoexpress. Immunoexpresses, third person singular simple present indicative of immunoexpress. Immunoexpressing, present participle and gerund of immunoexpress. Immunoexpression, the expression of a protein as a result of an immune response. Immunoexpressions, plural of immunoexpression. Immunoextract, to extract immunologically. Immunoextracted, simple past and past participle of immunoextract. Immunoextraction, immunological extraction of material from a mixture. Immunoextractions, plural of immunoextraction. Immunofactor, any immunological factor. Immunofactors, plural of immunofactor. Immunofibrogenic, fibrogenic as the result of an immune response. Immunofibrosis, fibrosis typically of the heart as a result of an autoimmune reaction. Immunofibrotic, relating to immunofibrosis. Immunofiltration, the purification of antibodies by mixing with a specific antigen followed by filtration. Immunofiltrations, plural of immunofiltration. Immunofixation, an enhancement to electrophoresis in which the separated materials are identified by immunoprecipitation. Immunofixations, plural of immunofixation. Immunofixative, relating to immunofixation. Immunofluorescence, misspelling of immunofluorescence. Immunofluorescence, a technique that uses a fluorochrome to indicate a specific antigen-antibody reaction. Immunofluorescences, plural of immunofluorescence. Immunofluorescent, of, pertaining to, or using immunofluorescence. Immunofluorescently, by means of immunofluorescence. Immunofluorimetric, relating to immunofluorimetry. Immunofluorimetry, misspelling of immunofluorometry. Immunofluorograph, a fluorograph produced by immunofluorography. Immunofluorographic, relating to immunofluorography. Immunofluorographs, plural of immunofluorograph. Immunofluorography, immunofluorescence fluorography. Immunofluorohistochemical, relating to immunofluorohistochemistry. Immunofluorohistochemistry, a combination of immunofluorometry and histochemistry. Immunofluorometric, relating to immunofluorometry. Immunofluorometrically, in an immunofluorometric manner. Immunofluorometry, immunofluorimetric assay. Immunofluoropositive, showing a positive reaction to immunofluorescence. Immunofluororeactive, showing a reaction to immunofluorescence. Immunofluoroscopy, immunological fluoroscopy. Immunofocus, to engineer antigens in order to produce antibodies with desired characteristics. Immunofocus, simple past and past participle of immunofocus. Immunofocuses, third person singular simple present indicative of immunofocus. Immunofocusing, the engineering of antigens in order to produce antibodies with desired characteristics. Immunofocus, simple past and past participle of immunofocus. Immunofocuses, third person singular simple present indicative of immunofocus. Immunofocusing, alternative spelling of immunofocusing. Immunofunctional, relating to the functioning of the immune system. Immunofunctionalize, having an immunological function. Immunogen, any substance that elicits an immune response, an antigen. Immunogene, describing a combination of immunotherapy and gene therapy. Immunogenicity, misspelling of immunogenicity. Immunogenesis, plural of immunogenesis. Immunogenesis, the generation of an immune response. Immunogenetic, relating to immunogenetics. Immunogenetical, alternative form of immunogenetic. Immunogenetically, by means of immunogenetics. Immunogeneticist, an immunologist or geneticist whose specialty is immunogenetics. Immunogeneticists, plural of immunogeneticists. Immunogenetics, the study of the genetic basis for the immune response and of the relationships between genetics and immunity from disease. Immunogenic, that produces a reaction from the immune system, antigenic. Immunogenically, in an immunogenic way. Immunogenicity, plural of immunogenicity. Immunogenicity, the ability of a particular substance to provoke an immune response. Immunogenomic, relating to immunogenomics. Immunogenomics, the application of genomics to immunology. Immunogenotype, the genotype of an organism that directs its immunophenotype. Immunogenotypes, plural of immunogenotype. Immunogens, plural of immunogen. Immunogerontological, immunological and gerontological. Immunoglobin, any protein that functions as an antibody. Immunoglobins, plural of immunoglobin. Globular, of pertaining to, containing or resembling immunoglobin. Respond to invasion by foreign antigens and that protect the host by removing pathogens, an antibody. Immunoglobulin A, an antibody that plays a crucial role in the immune function of mucous membranes. Immunoglobulin T, an antibody isotype that makes up about immunoglobulin T, an antibody isotype that makes up about 1% of proteins in the plasma membranes of immature B lymphocytes. Immunoglobulin E, a class of antibody or immunoglobulin isotype found in mammals. Immunoglobulin G, the most common type of antibody found in human blood circulation. Immunoglobulin M, one of several isotypes of antibodies produced by vertebrates. Immunoglobulinemia, the presence of immunoglobulin in the blood. Immunoglobulinemias, plural of immunoglobulinemia. Immunoglobulins, plural of immunoglobulin. Immunogold, a particle of gold that is used to label an antibody or protein in immunogold electron microscopy. Immunogold electron microscopy, a form of electron microscopy in which gold particles are used to label antibodies. Immunogram, the graphical result of an immunodiffusion test. Immunograms, plural of immunogram. Immunohematologic, alternative form of immunohematological. Immunohematological, alternative form of immunohematological. Immunohematologist, alternative form of immunohematologist. Immunohematologists, plural of immunohematologists. Immunohematology, alternative form of immunohematology. Immunohematologic, alternative form of immunohematological. Immunohematological, relating to immunohematology. Immunohematologist, one who works in the field of immunohematology. Immunohematologists, plural of immunohematologists. Immunohematology, the study of the relationships between disorders of the blood and the immune system. Immunohematopoietic, relating to the immune system and hematopoiesis. Immunohemolytic, hemolytic as a result of an immune response. Immunohistochemical, of pertaining to, or by means of immunohistochemistry, the use of immunological techniques to study the chemistry of tissues. Immunohistochemically, by means of or in regard to immunohistochemistry. Immunohistochemicals, plural of immunohistochemical. Immunohistochemistry, plural of immunohistochemistry. Immunohistochemistry, the analytical process of finding proteins in cells of a tissue microtome section exploiting the principle of antibodies binding specifically to antigens in biological tissues. Immunohistocompatibility, immunological histocompatibility. Immunohistocytochemical, immunohistochemical and cytochemical. Immunohistocytochemistry, immunohistochemical cytochemistry. Immunohistodetection, immunohistological detection. Immunohistofluorescence, the use of histofluorescence in immunology. Immunohistofluorescent, relating to or exhibiting immunohistofluorescence. Immunohistogram, a histogram of an immune function, typically made via flow cytometry. Immunohistograms, plural of immunohistogram. Immunohistologic, alternative form of immunohistological. Immunohistological, of or pertaining to immunohistology. Immunohistologically, in an immunohistological way. Immunohistology, the application of the techniques of immunology to histology. Immunohistomorphological, relating to immunohistomorphology. Immunohistomorphology, the application of immunology to histomorphology. Immunohistomorphometric, relating to immunohistomorphometry. Immunohistomorphometrically, by means of immunohistomorphometry. Immunohistomorphometry, the use of immunological techniques in histomorphometry. Immunohistopathologic, synonym of immunohistopathological. Immunohistopathological, relating to immunohistopathology. Immunohistopathologically, in terms of immunohistopathology. Immunohistopathology, histopathology in the presence of antibodies that bind to tissue components and thus reveal their presence. Immunohistostaining, a form of histostaining in the presence of antibodies. Immunohomeostasis, homeostasis of the immune system. Immunohumoral, relating to the interaction of the immune system and body fluids. Immunohybridization, the use of hybridization chain reactions in immunology. Immunohybridizations, plural of immunohybridization. Immunohistochemical, misspelling of immunohistochemical. Immunoimaging, any of several techniques used to form images of the components of the immune system. Immunoincompetence, the condition of being immunoincompetent. Immunoincompetent, lacking a functioning immune system. Immunoincubation, incubation in order for an immune response to develop. Immunoincubations, plural of immunoincubation. Immunoinflammation, inflammation caused by antibodies. Immunoinflammatory, relating to inflammation caused or modified by antibodies. Immunoinformatic, of or pertaining to immunoinformatics. Immunoinformatics, the branch of bioinformatics that deals with immunology. Immunoinhibit, to inhibit the immune response. Immunoinhibited, simple past and past participle of immunoinhibit. Immunoinhibiting, present participle and gerund of immunoinhibit. Immunoinhibition, the inhibition of an immune response. Immunoinhibitions, plural of immunoinhibition. Immunoinhibitor, anything that inhibits an immune response. Immunoinhibitors, plural of immunoinhibitor. Immunoinhibitory, that inhibits an immune response. Immunoinhibits, third person singular simple present indicative of immunoinhibit. Immunoinsufficiency, the condition of being immunoinsufficient. Immunoinsufficient, that does not have a sufficiently active immune system. Immunointensities, plural of immunointensity. Immunointensity, the intensity of an immune response. Immunointervention, any of several therapies used to prevent or treat autoimmune diseases. Immunointerventions, plural of immunointervention. Immunoisolate, to protect from an immune reaction by means of immunoisolation. Immunoisolated, simple past and past participle of immunoisolate. Immunoisolates, third person singular simple present indicative of immunoisolate. Immunoisolation, protection from an immune reaction by physical isolation, typically encapsulation. Immunosolations, plural of immunoisolation. Immunokinase, an immunotherapeutic kinase used in cancer treatment. Immunokinases, plural of immunokinase. Immunokinetic, of or pertaining to immunokinetics. Immunokinetics, the kinetics of the processes involved in the immune response. Immunolabel, to analyze antigens by using immunolabeling. Immunolabel, simple past and past participle of immunolabel. Immunolabeling, present participle and gerund of immunolabel. Immunolabelings, plural of immunolabeling. Immunolabeled, alternative spelling of immunolabeled. Immunolabeling, present participle and gerund of immunolabel. Immunolabelings, plural of immunolabeling. Immunolabels, third person singular simple present indicative of immunolabel. Immunolable, misspelling of immunolabel. Immunoctin, any lectin associated with the immune system. Immunoctins, plural of immunoctin. Immunocin, immunological lesion. Immunocians, plural of immunocians. Immunoligand, an immunologic ligand, and more specifically, not only an epitope or antigen or receptor or other binding site of the immune system, but also a molecule whose binding or bonding to another, such as an antibody or receptor, is of interest for its use as an immunotherapy target or as a payload carrier in an antibody-drug conjugate. Immunoligands, plural of immunoligand. Immunoliposomal, relating to immunoliposomes. Immunoliposome, A liposome that has an attached antibody. Immunoliposomes, plural of immunoliposome. Immunolocalization, alternative form of immunolocalization. Immunolocalizations, plural of immunolocalization. Immunolocalize, alternative form of immunolocalize. Immunolocalize, simple past and past participle of immunolocalize. Immunolocalizes, third person singular simple present indicative of immunolocalize. Immunolocalizing, present participle and gerund of immunolocalize. Immunolocalization, the use of immunological techniques to identify the location of molecules or other structures within cells or tissues. Immunolocalizations, plural of immunolocalization. Immunolocalize, to use immunological techniques to determine where particular structures or molecules are located within a cell. Immunolocalize, simple past and past participle of immunolocalize. Immunolocalizes, third person singular simple present indicative of immunolocalize. Immunolocalizing, present participle and gerund of immunolocalize. Immunolocate, to establish an immunolocation. Immunolocated, simple past and past participle of immunolocate. Immunolocation, synonym of immunolocalization, or a location obtained by this technique. Immunologic, immunological. Immunologic cytotoxicity, the mechanism whereby the immune system renders foreign or abnormal cells safe by either destroying or damaging them. Immunological, of or relating to immunology. Immunologically, using immunological methods. Immunologically naive, having an immune system that has never been exposed to a specific antigen. Immunologically naive, alternative spelling of immunologically naive. Immunologicals, plural of immunological. Immunologies, plural of immunology. Immunologists, a person who studies or practices medicine in the area of immunology. Immunologists, plural of immunologists. Immunology, the branch of medicine that concerns the body's immune system. Immunoluminescence, a technique in which antibodies are detected via a luminescent reaction. Immunoluminescent, relating to or employing immunoluminescence. Immunolomanometric, relating to immunological luminometry. Immunolysis, the lysis of a cell as a result of an immune reaction. Immunomagnetic, describing a technique in which specific cells are separated via attachment to paramagnetic beads. Immunomagnetic separation, a laboratory technique for separating cells by means of their antigens becoming bound to antibodies coating microscopic paramagnetic beads, which can then be separated from the medium by magnetic attraction. Immunomagnetic separations, plural of immunomagnetic separation. Immunomagnetically, in an immunomagnetic manner. Immunomanipulation, immunological manipulation of cells and tissue. Immunomapping, the mapping of the locations of antigens, typically by means of immunofluorescence. Immunomarker, any immunohistochemical marker. Immunomarkers, plural of immunomarker. Immunomaturation, the maturation of an immune system. Immunome, all the genes and proteins associated with an immune system. Immunomotionism, an immunological mechanism mode of action. Immunomotionisms, plural of immunomotionism. Immunomediate, to mediate within an immune system. Immunomediated, simple past and past participle of immunomediate. Immunomediator, an immunological mediator. Immunomediators, plural of immunomediator. Immunomes, plural of immunome. Immunometabole, relating to immunometabolism. Immunometabolism, the study of the action between the immune system and metabolism. Immunometabolite, a metabolite produced by the immune system. Immunometabolites, plural of immunometabolite. Immunometabolome, an immunometabolic metabolome. Immunometabolomes, plural of immunometabolome. Immunometabolomics, the application of immunological techniques to metabolomics. Immunometric, of or pertaining to measurement of biochemical systems using antibodies. Immunometrics, the statistical analysis of immunological data. Immunometry, measurement by means of chemical reactions between antigens and antibodies. Immunomicrobial, immunological and microbial. Micrograph, a micrograph of an immune response. Immunomicrographs, plural of immunomicrograph. Immunomicroscopic, relating to immunomicroscopy. Immunomicroscopy, the combined use of microscopy and immunostaining in order to identify binding sites, epitopes. Immunomics, the application of genomics to the study of the immune system. Immunomimetic, that mimics the immune system. Immunomodifier, any material that modifies an allergic response, especially one that augments immune function in patients. Immunomodifiers, plural of immunomodifier. Immunomodulant, immunomodulatory. Immunomodulants, plural of immunomodulant. Immunomodular, relating to immunomodulation. Immunomodulary, misspelling of immunomodulatory. Immunomodulatory. Misspelling of immunomodulatory. Immunomodulate, to apply a substance, for example a drug that has an effect on the immune system. Immunomodulated, simple past and past participle of immunomodulate. Immunomodulates, third person singular simple present indicative of immunomodulate. Immunomodulating, that leads to immunomodulation. Immunomodulation, any of several adjustments in the level of an immune response via either endogenous regulation or immunotherapy. Immunomodulations, plural of immunomodulation. Immunomodulative, synonym of immunomodulatory. Immunomodulator, a drug used for its effect on the immune system. Immunomodulators, plural of immunomodulator. Immunomodulatory, having the ability to alter or regulate immune functions. Immunomodulin, any of a group of modulins that modify the secretion of proteins such as cytokines. Immunomodulins, plural of immunomodulin. Immunomolecular, relating to immunomolecules. Immunomolecule, a molecule of an antibody. Immunomolecules, plural of immunomolecule. Immunomonitoring, the clinical monitoring of the immune response of a patient. Immunomorphological, related to immunomorphology. Immunomorphology, the study of the relationship between form and function of immunological species such as antigens. Immunomorphometric, relating to immunomorphometry. Immunomorphometrical, alternative form of immunomorphometric. Immunomorphometry, immunological morphometry. Immunomycin, ascomycin. Immunomyeloablation, severe immunosuppression. Immunomyeloablative, relating to immunomyeloablation. Immunonaive, not previously exposed to a particular antigen. Immunonanoparticle, any nanoparticle designed to interact with the immune system. Immunonanoparticle, plural of immunonanoparticle. Immunonegative, that generates a negative response to a test for a specific antigen or antibody. Immunonegativity, the condition of being immunonegative. Immunonephilometer, a nephilometer used in immunonephilometry. Immunonephilometers, plural of immunonephilometer. Immunonephilometric, relating to immunonephilometry or to a immunonephilometer. Immunonephilometrically, by means of immunonephilometry. Immunonephilometry, the use of nephilometry in the characterization of antigens and antibodies. Immunoneuroendocrine, relating to the immune, nervous, and endocrine systems. Immunoneutral, having a neutral effect on the immune system. Immunoneutralization, alternative form of immunoneutralization. Immunoneutralize, alternative form of immunoneutralize. Immunoneutralize, alternative form of immunoneutralize. Immunoneutralizes, third person singular simple present indicative of immunoneutralize. Immunoneutralizing, present participle and gerund of immunoneutralize. Immunoneutralization, the immunological neutralization of enzymes, etc. Immunoneutralize, to immunologically neutralize an enzymes, etc. Immunoneutralize, modify by immunoneutralization. Immunoneutralizes, third person singular simple present indicative of immunoneutralize. Immunoneutralizing, present participle and gerund of immunoneutralize. Immunonormal, having a normal immune system. Immunonutrient, any substance that provides immunonutrition. Immunonutrients, plural of immunonutrient. Immunonutrition, feeding with a selection of pharmaconutrients, etc. in order to improve the immune response. Immunonutritional, relating to the immune system and nutrition. Immunoosseous, relating to bone and the immune system. Immunopanel, a panel of immunomarkers. Immunopanels, plural of immunopanel. Immunopanning, a form of immunoprecipitation that uses an immobilized antibody. Immunoparalysis, prolonged monocyte/leukocyte antigen depression. Immunoparticle, a particle or nanoparticle designed to carry antibodies. Immunoparticles, plural of immunoparticle. Immunopathies, plural of immunopathy. Immunopathobiology, the application of immunopathology to biology. Immunopathogen, any immunopathogenic material. Immunopathogenesis, plural of immunopathogenesis. Immunopathogenesis, the pathogenesis of a disease relating to the immune system. Immunopathogenetic, relating to immunopathogenesis. Immunopathogenic, relating to immunopathogenesis. Immunopathogenicity, the condition of being immunopathogenic. Immunological pathogenicity. Immunopathogens, plural of immunopathogen. Immunopathologic, synonym of immunopathological. Immunopathological, of or pertaining to immunopathology. Immunopathologically, in terms of immunopathology. Immunopathologies, plural of immunopathology. Immunopathologist, one who studies immunopathology. Immunopathologists, plural of immunopathologists. Immunopathology, the branch of immunology that studies the relation of the immune system to disease, a disease caused by a disruption of the immune system. Immunopathophysiology, immunological pathophysiology. Immunopathway, immunological pathway. Immunopathways, plural of immunopathway. Immunopathy, any disease of the immune system. Immunopediatric, relating to immunopediatrics. Immunopediatrics, immunology in children. Immunopellet, a pellet formed by immunoprecipitation. Immunopellets, plural of immunopellet. Immunopeptide, any peptide involved in the biochemistry of the immune system. Immunopeptides, plural of immunopeptide. Immunopeptidome, the collection of all the immunopeptides in an organism. Immunopeptidomes, plural of immunopeptidome. Immunopeptidomic, relating to an immunopeptidome. Immunopeptidomics, the branch of molecular biology that studies the set of immunopeptides of an organism. Immunoperoxidase, an immunostain in which the antibodies are visualized via a peroxidase catalyzed reaction. Immunoperoxidases, plural of immunoperoxidase. Immunoperoxidase, misspelling of immunoperoxidase. Immunopharmaceutical, immunological and pharmaceutical. Immunopharmaceuticals, plural of immunopharmaceutical. Immunopharmacology, alternative form of immunopharmacological. Immunopharmacological, relating to immunopharmacology. Immunopharmacologically, in terms of or by means of immunopharmacology. Immunopharmacologist, one who studies immunopharmacology. Immunopharmacologists, plural of immunos of or by means of immunopharmacology. Immunopharmacologist, one who studies immunopharmacology. Immunopharmacologists, plural of immunopharmacologists. Immunopharmacology, the branch of pharmacology that deals with the immune system. Immunophilometric, immunological and nephilometric. Immunophenotype, the immunological and genetic characteristics of an organism. Immunophenotype, characterized by immunophenotyping. Immunophenotypes, plural of immunophenotype. Immunophenotype, of or pertaining to immunophenotyping. Immunophenotypical, of or pertaining to an immunophenotype. Immunophenotypically, with reference to an immunophenotype. Immunophenotyping, a technique that uses antibodies to study the expression of proteins by cells. Immunophilin, any of a class of isomerases active in the immune system. Immunophilins, plural of immunophilin. Immunophilin, misspelling of immunophilin. Immunophotodetection, the use of photodetection in immunology. Immunophotometry, immunological photometry. Immunophotosensitizer, a photosensitizing antibody. Immunophotosensitizers, plural of immunophotosensitizer. Immunophysiological, relating to immunophysiology. Immunophysiology, the physiology of the immune system. Immunophysiopathological, relating to immunophysiopathology. Immunophysiopathology, the physiology of the immune system. Immunoplaque, a technique that uses filter paper to assay the presence of antibodies. Immunoplaques, plural of immunoplaque. Immunoplate, a glass of plastic plate containing an array of wells on which immunological analyses are carried out. Immunoplates, plural of immunoplate. Immunopoiesis, the activation of the immune system. Immunopoietic, that activates the immune system. Immunopositive, that generates a positive response to a test for a specific antigen or antibody. Immunopositively, in an immunopositive manner. Immunopositivity, the quality of being immunopositive. Immunopotencies, plural of immunopotency. Immunopotency, immunological potency. Immunopotent, able to stimulate the formation of antibodies. Immunopotential, having the potential to cause an immune response. Immunopotentialization, the process of making something immunopotential. Immunopotentiate, to cause or to undergo immunopotentiation. Immunopotentiating, that promotes immunopotentiation. Immunopotentiation, the accentuation of an immune response by the administration of another substance and adjuvant. Immunopotentiations, plural of immunopotentiation. Immunopotentiative, relating to immunopotentiation. Immunopotentiator, anything that provokes immunopotentiation, an immunostimulant. Immunopotentiators, plural of immunopotentiator. Immunopotentiatory, relating to an immunopotentiator or to immunopotentiation. Immunoprecipitable, precipitable via immunoprecipitation. Immunoprecipitant, the antibody that makes a specific antigen immunoprecipitate. Immunoprecipitants, plural of immunoprecipitant. Immunoprecipitatable, misspelling of immunoprecipitatable. Immunoprecipitate, a protein precipitated during immunoprecipitation. Immunoprecipitated, formed as a result of immunoprecipitation. Immunoprecipitates, plural of immunoprecipitate. Immunoprecipitating, that facilitates or undergoes immunoprecipitation. Immunoprecipitation, a technique in which an antigen is precipitated from solution by using an antibody or a particular use of this technique. Immunoprecipitations, plural of immunoprecipitation. Immunoprecipitative, relating to immunoprecipitation. Immunopressive, alternative form of immunosuppressive. Immunoprevalence, the prevalence, typically of a pathogen in the immune system. Immunoprevalent, having many epitopes. Immunopreventable, preventable via immunoprevention. Immunoprevention, the use of the immune system to prevent disease. Immunopreventive, relating to immunoprevention. Immunoprinting, an extension of immunoblotting. Immunoprivilege, the ability to tolerate the introduction of antigens without eliciting an immune response. Immunoprivilege, able to tolerate the introduction of antigens without eliciting an immune response. Immunoprobe, to detect the effects of biotinylation by means of an antibody. Immuniprobe, simple past and past participle of immuniprobe. Immuniprobes, third person singular simple present indicative of immuniprobe. Immuniprobing, present participle and gerund of immuniprobe. Immuniprocess, immunologically process. Immunoprocessing, immunological processing. Immunoprofile, an immunological profile. Immunoprofiles, plural of file. Immunoprofiling, present participle and gerund of immunoprofile. Immunoproliferation, the abnormal proliferation of the primary cells of the immune system or the excessive production of immunoglobulins. Immunoproliferative, of or relating to immunoproliferation. Immunoproliferative small intestinal disease, a rare extranodal B-cell lymphoma primarily affecting the proximal small intestine, particularly the duodenum and jejunum. Immunoprophylactic, of or pertaining to immunoprophylaxis. Immunoprophylactics, plural of immunoprophylactic. Immunoprophylaxis, plural of immunoprophylaxis. Immunoprophylaxis, the prevention of disease by administration of vaccines. Immunoproteasomal, relating to immunoproteasomes. Immunoproteasome, a proteasome assembled using alternative beta form subunits in response to pro-inflammatory signals. Immunoproteasomes, plural of immunoproteasome. Immunoprotect, to confer immunoprotection on. Immunoprotected, simple past and past participle of immunoprotect. Immunoprotection, protection against the effects of an antigen. Immunoprotections, plural of immunoprotection. Immunoprotective, that protects against the effects of an antigen. Immunoproductivity, the condition of being immunoprotective. Immunoprotector, anything that provides immunoprotection. Immunoprotectors, plural of immunoprotector. Immunoprotein, any protein with immunological activity. Immunoproteins, plural of immunoprotein. Immunoproteome, the proteome consisting of all the proteins involved in a particular immune response. Immunoprotomes, plural of immunoprotome. Immunoprotomic, relating to immunoprotomes. Immunoprotomics, the study of an immunoprotome. Immunoproteasome, alternative form of immunoproteasome. Immunoproteasomes, plural of immunoproteasome. Immunoprotocol, an immunologica protocol that specifies an acceptable diet that will not cause such problems. Immunoprotocols, plural of immunoprotocol. Immunopsychiatric, immunological and psychiatric. Immunopsychiatry, the study of how the immune system affects psychiatric conditions. Immunopure, immunologically pure, triggering no immune response. Immunopurification, the use of immunological techniques to purify proteins, antigens, etc. Immunopurifications, plural of immunopurification. Immunopurify, purified by immunopurification. Immunopurify, to purify by means of immunopurification. Immunopurifying, present participle and gerund of immunopurify. Immunoquantification, quantification of an immune response. Immunoquiescence, the condition of being immunoquiescent. Immunoquiescent, immunologically quiescent. Immunoradiose, Synonym of radioimmunoassay. Immunoradioassays. Plural of immunoradioassay. Immunoradiometry. Describing an analytical technique involving the reversible and non-covalent binding of an antigen by a specific antibody labeled with a radioactive nuclide as a tracer. Immunoradiometry. Immunological radiometry. Immunoradiotherapy. A combination of immunotherapy and radiotherapy. Immunoreact. To undergo immunoreaction. Immunoreactant. Synonym of immunoreactive. Immunoreactants. Plural of immunoreactant. Immunoreacted. The acted immunologically. Immunoreacting. Undergoing an immune reaction. Immunoreaction. Immune reaction. Immunoreactions. Plural of immunoreaction. Immunoreactive. Of pertaining to or causing an immune reaction. Immunoreactively. In an immunoreactive manner. Immunoreactives. Plural of immunoreactive. Immunoreactivities. Plural of immunoreactivity. Immunoreactivity. A measure of the immune reaction caused by an antigen. Immunoreagent. An immunological reagent. Immunoreagents. Plural of immunoreagent. Immunoreceptor. A family of receptors found on leukocytes that regulate cell activity in an immune response. Immunoreceptors. Plural of immunoreceptor. Immunorecessive. Immunologically recessive. Immunorecognition. The recognition of epitopes by antibodies. Immunorecognize. To recognize an epitope. Immunorecognize. Simple past and past participle of immunorecognize. Immunoreconstitution. The often partial or temporary reconstitution of a damaged immune system. Immunoreconstitutions. Plural of immunoreconstitution. Immunorgulate. To cause or to undergo immunorgulation. Immunorgulated. Simple past and past participle of immunorgulate. Immunorgulating. That is involved in immunorgulation. Immunorgulation. The control of immune responses between lymphocytes and macrophages. Immunorgulations. Plural of immunorgulation. Immunorgulative. Of or pertaining to immunorgulation. Immunorgulator. A substance responsible for immunorgulation. Immunorgulators. Plural of immunorgulator. Immunorgulatory. Of or pertaining to immunorgulation. Immunorejection. Rejection of foreign tissue by the immune system. Immunorelated. Immunologically related. Immunorelevant. Immunologically relevant. Immunorepertoire. The sum of functionally diverse B and T cells in one's circulation at any given moment. The set of conditions that an immune system recognizes. Immunorepertoires. Plural of immunorepertoire. Immunorepressive. Synonym of immunosuppressive. Immunoresearch. Immunological research. Immunoresistance. Immunological resistance to a therapy. Immunoresistant. Exhibiting immunoresistance. Immunoresolvent. Immunologically resolvent. Immunoresponse. Alternative form of immune response. Immunoresponses. Plural of immunoresponse. Immunoresponsive. Relating to the immune response. Immune responsiveness. The condition of being immunoresponsive. Immune restoration. The restoration of an immune response. Immune restorations. Plural of immune restoration. Immune restorative. That restores normal immune responses. Immune restoratives. Plural of immune restorative. Immune retained. Immunologically retained. Immunoscintigraphic. Relating to immunoscintigraphy. Immunoscintigraphically. By means of immunoscintigraphy. Immunoscintigraphy, an imaging procedure involving administration of radioactively labeled monoclonal antibodies. Immunoscope, an analysis technique in which a population is divided into a spectrum of some variable. Immunoscore, an immunological quantification of the severity of a cancer. Immunoscores, plural of immunoscore. Immunoscoring, present participle and gerund of immunoscore. Immunoscorings, plural of immunoscoring. Immunoscreened, screened by means of immunoscreening. Immunoscreening, the detection of expressed proteins by reaction with a library of antibodies. Immunoscreenings, plural of immunoscreening. Immunosecretory, that affects the immune and secretory systems. Immunoselection, misspelling of immunoselection. Immunoselected, selected by means of immunoselection. Immunoselection, selection of cell lines according to their resistance to antibodies. Immunoselections, plural of immunoselection. Immunoselective, relating to immunoselection. Immunosenescence, the gradual deterioration of the immune system caused by the aging process. Immunosenescent, affected with immunosenescence. Immunosensing, the use of an immunosensor. Immunosensitization, alternative form of immunosensitization. Immunosensitive, sensitive to allergens, allergic. Immunosensitivities, plural of immunosensitivity. Immunosensitivity, the condition of being immunosensitive. Immunosensitization, sensitization to an allergen. Immunosensor, a device that detects the reaction of an antibody with an antigen and produces an electrical signal. Immunosensors, plural of immunosensor. Immunospiration, separation of constituents by means of antibodies. Immunospirations, plural of immunospiration. Immunosquints, analyzed by immunosquincing. Immunosquincing, the identification of B cells and T cells in a biological sample. Immunosequestered, sequestered by means of immunosequestration. Immunosequestration, the sequestration of antibodies to prevent their degradation. Immunosequestrations, plural of immunosequestration. Immunosera, plural of immunosrum. Immunoserological, relating to immunoserology. Immunoserology, the branch of serology that involves studies of the immune response. Immunoserotyping, immunological serotyping. Immunoserum, a serum produced during immunoserology. Immunosignal, an immunological signal. Immunosignaling, present participle and gerund of immunosignal. Immunosignals, plural of immunosignal. Immunosignature, an immunological signature of a disease made using a matrix of random peptides. Immunosignatures, plural of immunosignature. Immunosignaturing, diagnosis by means of immunosignatures. Immunosilent, showing no symptoms or change in symptoms for a reasonable time period. Immunosimulation, misspelling of immunostimulation. Immunosolvent, misspelling of immunosorbent. Immunosorbents, the absorbance of antibodies by antigens. Immunosorbences, plural of immunosorbents. Immunosorbent, misspelling of immunosorbent. Immunosorbed, removed from a mixture by means of an immunosorbent. Immunosorbents, misspelling of immunosorbents. Immunosorbency, the condition of being immunosorbent. Immunosorbent, an antibody that is used to remove a specific antigen from a mixture. Immunosorbents, plural of immunosorbent. Immunosorbing, immunosorbent. Immunosorption, alternative form of immunoadsorption. Immunosort, to sort immunologically. Immunosorted, simple past and past participle of immunosort. Immunosorting, the immunological sorting of proteins, cells, etc. Immunosorts, third person singular simple present indicative of immunosort. Immunospecialize, immunologically specialize. Immunospecies, a specific macromolecule detected in an immunoassay. Immunospecific to a particular antigen. Immunospecificity, the condition of being immunospecific. Immunosphere, a form of immunobad. Immunospheres, plural of immunosphere. Immunospot, any of the spots resulting from a biochemical assay used to monitor cellular immune responses. Immunospots, plural of immunospot. Immunostain, any staining agent used in immunostaining. Immunostainable, stainable with an immunostain. Immunostain, stained by means of immunostaining. Immunostainer, any of various devices used for staining immunological samples or for staining biological samples immunologically. Immunostainers, plural of immunostainer, various devices used for staining immunological samples or for staining biological samples immunologically. Immunostainers, plural of immunostainer. Immunostaining, any of several staining techniques that are used to detect specific proteins. Immunostainings, plural of immunostaining. Immunostains, plural of immunostain. Immunostate, synonym of immunostatus. Immunostates, plural of immunostate. Immunostatus, immunological status. Immunostatuses, plural of immunostatus. Immunosterilization, immunological sterilization, typically of a farm animal. Immunosteroid, any steroid involved in immune orgulation. Immunosteroids, plural of immunosteroid. Immunostimulant, any substance that stimulates an immune response. Immunostimulants, plural of immunostimulant. Immunostimulate, to stimulate an immune response. Immunostimulated, simple past and past participle of immunostimulate. Immunostimulating, that stimulates the immune system. Immunostimulation, stimulation of the immune response. Immunostimulations, plural of immunostimulation. Immunostimulative, synonym of immunostimulatory. Immunostimulator, an immunostimulant. Immunostimulators, plural of immunostimulator. Immunostimulatory, that produces immunostimulation. Immunostressor, any material that causes stress to the immune system. Immunostressors, plural of immunostressor. Immunostrip, a strip of material containing antibodies used for the rapid identification of antigens. Immunostrips, plural of immunostrip. Immunosubdominant, less than immunodominant. Immunosubset, a subset of cells that have the same immunological function. Immunosubsets, plural of immunosubset. Immunosubtype, a subtype of an immunotype. Immunosubtyped, simple past and past participle of immunosubtype. Immunosubtypes, plural of immunosubtype. Immunosubtyping, present participle and gerund of immunosubtype. Immunosubunit, a subunit of an immunoproteasome. Immunosubunits, plural of immunosubunit. Immunosubversion, subversion of the immune system. Immunosubversions, plural of immunosubversion. Immunosubversive, tending to subvert the immune system. Immunosufficient, that is a sufficiently active immune system. Immunosupernatant, the solution left after immunoprecipitation. Immunosupernatants, plural of immunosupernatant. Immunosuppressant, misspelling of immunosuppressant. Immunosuppressian, misspelling of immunosuppression. Immunosuppressive, misspelling of immunosuppressive. Immunosuppress, to cause immunosuppression in. Immunosuppressant, capable of immunosuppression, immunosuppressive. Immunosuppressants, plural of immunosuppressant. Immunosuppress, affected by immunosuppression. Immunosuppresses, third person singular simple present indicative of immunosuppress. Immunosuppressing, present participle and gerund of immunosuppress. Immunosuppression, the suppression of the immune response, especially its active medical suppression by human agency via immunosuppressant drugs to treat autoimmune diseases or to prevent allograft rejection after transplant. Immunosuppressions, plural of immunosuppression. Immunosuppressive, having the capability to suppress the immune system, capable of immunosuppression. Immunosuppressively, by means of immunosuppression. Immunosuppressives, plural of immunosuppressive. Immunosuppressor, an immunosuppressive agent. Immunosuppressors, plural of immunosuppressor. Immunosuppressant, misspelling of immunosuppressant. Immunosuppression, misspelling of immunosuppression. Immunosuppressive, misspelling of immunosuppressive. Immunosuppressor, misspelling of immunosuppressor. Immunosurgery, a method of removing an external cell layer of an object by exposing it to a solution containing antibodies. Immunosurgical, relating to immunosurgery. Immunosurgically, by means of immunosurgery. Immunosurveillance, the continuous monitoring process of the immune system whereby abnormal cells are recognized and destroyed. Immunosurveillant, relating to immunosurveillance. Immunosurveyor, Any system that carries out immunosurveillance. Immunosurveillors, plural of immunosurveyor. Immunosusceptibility, the condition of being immunosusceptible. Immunosusceptible, susceptible to an immunological condition. Immunoswab, a swab used in an immunological assay. Immunoswabs, plural of immunoswab. Immunosynapse, the interface between a target cell and a lymphocyte. Immunosynapses, plural of immunosynapse. Immunosynaptic, relating to an immunosynapse. Immunosystem, immune system. Immunosystems, plural of immunosystem. Immunotactoid, of or relating to immunotactoids. Immunotactoids, plural of immunotactoid. Immunotag, synonym of immunolabel. Immunotagged, simple past and past participle of immunotag. Immunotarget, the target of an immunological reaction or therapy. Immunotargeting, immunological targeting. Immunotargets, plural of immunotarget. Immunotaxis, chemotaxis under the influence of a cytokine. Immunotechnique, any immunological technique. Immunotechniques, plural of immunotechnique. Immunotests, any immunological test. Immunotesting, immunological testing. Immunotests, plural of immunotest. Immunotherapeutic, of a pharmaceutical acting on the immune system to treat disease, used in immunotherapy. Immunotherapeutical, alternative form of immunotherapeutic. Immunotherapeutically, in an immunotherapeutic manner. Immunotherapeutics, plural of immunotherapeutic. Immunotherapeutic, alternative form of immunotherapeutic. Immunotherapies, plural of immunotherapy. Immunotherapists, a therapist who carries out immunotherapy. Immunotherapists, plural of immunotherapists. Immunotherapy, the treatment of disease, especially cancers and autoimmune diseases, by adjusting the body's immune response. Immunothreat, an immunological threat. Immunothreats, plural of immunothreat. Immunothrombi, plural of immunothrombus. Immunothrombocytopenia, an autoimmune form of thrombocytopenia. Immunothrombocytopenic, relating to immunothrombocytopenia. Immunothromboses, plural of immunothrombosis. Immunothrombosis, thrombosis as a result of an immune response. Immunothrombotic, relating to immunothrombosis. Immunothrombus, a thrombus formed as a result of an immune response. Immunotitration, immunological titration typically of enzymes. Immunotitrations, plural of immunotitration. Immunotolerable, able to tolerate a certain antibody. Immunotolerance, a specific tolerance of the immune system to a particular antigen, which is capable under other conditions of inducing an immune response. Immunotolerant, that does not develop an immune response to a particular antigen. Immunotolerize, synonym of tolerize. Immunotolerize, simple past and past participle of immunotolerize. Immunotolerogenic, that leads to immunotolerance. Immunotoxic, of pertaining to or characteristic of an immunotoxin, toxic to the immune system. Immunotoxicant, any material that causes immunotoxicity. Immunotoxicants, plural of immunotoxicant. Immunotoxicities, plural of immunotoxicity. Immunotoxicity, the toxic effect of an immunotoxin on the immune system. Immunotoxicological, relating to immunotoxicology. Immunotoxicologists, a toxicologist whose specialty is immunotoxicology. Immunotoxicologists, plural of immunotoxicologists. Immunotoxicology, the study of dysfunction of the immune system caused by a xenobiotic. Immunotoxin, any compound that is toxic to the immune system. Immunotoxins, plural of immunotoxin. Immunotransmitter, a material that transmits immunity. Immunotransmitters, plural of immunotransmitter. Immunotronics, the design of electronic systems inspired by the natural immune system. Related areas include embryological electronics and evolvable hardware, also known as immunological electronics. Immunotrophic, relating to the interaction of the immune system and nutrition. Immunotropic, that modifies the action of the immune system. Immunotropism, modification of the action of the immune system. Immunotrypanolysis, immunological trypanolysis. Immunotube, a tube coated with antigens used to isolate antibodies. Immunotubes, plural of immunotube. Immunoturbidimetric, of or pertaining to immunoturbidimetry. Immunoturbidimetrically, in an immunoturbidimetric manner. Immunoturbidimetry, the application of turbidimetry to the interaction of antigens and antibodies. Immunoturbidimetric, misspelling of immunoturbidimetric. Immunoturbidity, the use or the outcome of immunoturbidimetry. Immunoturbidometric, relating to immunoturbidometry. Immunoturbidometrically, alternative form of immunoturbidometrically. Immunoturbimetric, alternative form of immunoturbidometric. Immunoturbimetry, misspelling of immunoturbidimetry. Immunotype, the form of a compound that has separate immunological characteristics. Immunotyped, simple past and past participle of immunotype. Immunotypes, plural of immunotype. Immunotypic, of or pertaining to an immunotype. Immunotyping, any of several techniques used to identify immunotypes. Immunount, a measure of the amount of antibodies present in a sample. Immunounits, plural of immunount. Immunovaccine, an immunological vaccine. Immunovaccines, plural of immunovaccine. Immunovaccinology, the use of the techniques of immunology and, particularly, immunoinformatics in the field of vaccine discovery. Immunovariant, immunologically variant. Immunovascular, of or pertaining to both vessels and immune system. Immunovirologic, alternative form of immunovirological. Immunovirological, relating to immunovirology. Immunovirologically, in an immunovirological manner. Immunovirology, the study of the actions between viruses and the immune system. Immunovirotherapy, a combination of immunotherapy and virotherapy. Immunovirus, Any immunodeficiency virus. Immunoviruses, plural of immunovirus. Immunovisualization, the use of southern blot analysis or related techniques in immunology. Immunovisualizations, plural of immunovisualization. Immunoester, related to Western blot analysis. Immuration, a walling up or immuring. Immurations, plural of immuration. Immure, to cloister, confine, imprison or hole up, to lock someone up or seclude oneself behind walls. Immure, simple past and past participle of immure. Immurement, capital punishment, human sacrifice or life imprisonment by entombing for life or sealing behind walls. Immurements, plural of immurement. Immures, third person singular simple present indicative of immure. Immuring, present participle and gerund of immure. Immurings, plural of immuring. Immusical, unharmonious, unmusical. Immutabilities, plural of immutability. Immutability, the state or quality of being immutable, immutableness. Immutable, unable to be changed without exception. Immutableness, the state of being immutable, unchangeableness. Immutables, plural of immutable. Immutably, in an immutable manner, in a way that cannot be varied or changed. Immutate, unchanged. Immutation, change, alteration, mutation, modification. Immutations, plural of immutation. Immute, to change or alter. Immuted, simple past and past participle of immute. Immutes, third person singular simple present indicative of immute. Immuting, present participle and gerund of immute. A diminutive of the female given name Imogen. Initialism of in my not at all humble opinion. Initialism of in my not so fucking humble opinion. Initialism of in my not so humble opinion. Initialism of in my opinion. A state of Nigeria in the southeast geopolitical zone. Capital and largest city, Owerri. Imachar, the Tuareg people. Amadam, a female given name from the Celtic languages. Amadam, alternative form of Imogen. Amadans, plural of Imogen. Amaja, a female given name from the Celtic languages. Imagalite, an aluminium silicate clay mineral found in soils formed from volcanic ash. Imagalites, plural of imagalite. Umoha, synonym of Tuareg, member of nomadic Berber people. Imohags, plural of Himohar. Imainu, the ancient Meday goddess of family, the fireplace/hearth, the household and kitchen, peace, prosperity, and wealth. Imalami, a vasodilator. Imoles, of our relating to the Italian city of Imola. Amanda, a Papuan language of Sandaun Province, Papua New Guinea. Iamos, plural of Iamo. Imotski, a town in Croatia. Imaldo, a little sister. Imaldos, plural of Imaldo. Imoxidorol, a beta-adrenergic agonist. Initialism of inosine monophosphate. To engraft or plant a plant or part of one, a sapling, etc. Imp tree, a tree that has been grafted onto the stalk of another tree. Imp trees, plural of imp tree. Abbreviation of import. Impdal, abbreviation of imperial gallon. Impeccable, implacable, unable to be appeased. Impactment, a closely packed state, impaction. Impact, the striking of one body against another, collision. Impact aid, money provided by the government to school districts that have lost property tax revenue due to the presence of tax-exempt federal property or have experienced increased expenditure due to the enrollment of federally connected children, including children living on Native American lands. Impact area, a region that is eligible to receive impact aid funding. Impact areas, plural of impact area. Impact crater, a crater formed from a hypervelocity impact, typically of a meteorite as opposed to one formed by other means such as volcanism. Impact craters, plural of impact crater. Impact driver, a drill for making holes in order to later use another drill to place screws in. Impact energies, plural of impact energy. Impact energy, the energy needed to fracture a material under standard conditions. Impact event, the collision between two or more celestial bodies, at least one of which usually being an asteroid or meteorite. Impact factor, a measure reflecting the average number of citations to recent articles published in an academic journal, used as an approximation of the relative importance of a journal within its field. Impact factors, plural of impact factor. Impact matrix printer, synonym of dot matrix printer. Impact matrix printers, plural of impact matrix printer. Impact melt, the molten rock that forms when an asteroid or meteorite strikes a solid surface, creating intense heat and pressure. Impact printer, a printer in which each character is produced by part of the mechanism striking the paper, normally through an inked ribbon. Impact printers, plural of impact printer. Impact resistance, the characteristic of resistance to fracture under the sudden application of force. Impact resistances, plural of impact resistance. Impact sourcing, a form of outsourcing that employs socioeconomically disadvantaged people. Impact statement, testimony, either oral or written, provided during a proceeding in a court of law which describes the harmful effects produced by the actions of an accused or convicted party and suffered by the victim or others, offered especially for consideration by the court in deciding an appropriate punishment. Impact statements, plural of impact statement. Impact winter, a period of prolonged cold weather due to the impact of a large asteroid or comet on the Earth's surface. Impact winters, plural of impact winter. Impactable, likely to be impacted. Impacted, simple past and past participle of impact. Impactedness, the state or condition of being impacted. Impactor, one who or that which makes an impact. Impactors, plural of impactor. Impactful, having impact. Impactfully, in an impactful fashion. Impactfulness, the quality of being impactful. Impacting, present participle and gerund of impact. Impaction, compression, the packing together of loose matter. Impactions, plural of impaction. Impacti, any created or method at the impact of a meteorite. Impactites, plural of impactite. Impactive, of, pertaining to, possessing, or caused by impact. Impactless, without impact. Impactlessness, absence of impact. Impactment, impaction. Impactments, plural of impactment. Impactogenic, having an impact origin due to a collision with a comet, meteor, asteroid, or other astronomical body. Impactor, any of several machines or devices in which a part impacts on another or on a material. Impactors, plural of impactor. Impacts, plural of impact. Impactual, of or relating to an impact. Impacturbation, the mixing of soil by impact with meteors, etc. Impaint, to paint, to decorate with colors. Impainted, simple past and past participle of impaint. Impainting, present participle and gerund of impaint. Imbance, third person singular simple present indicative of impaint. Impair, to weaken, to affect negatively, to have a diminishing effect on. Impairable, able to be impaired. Impair, rendered less effective. Impaired driving, a criminal offense, the act of driving while impaired, such as by alcohol or drugs. Impairedness, the state of being impaired. Impaireds, plural of impaired. Impairer, someone that impairs. Embarrass, plural of impairer. Embarrass, second person singular simple present indicative of impair. Impair, third person singular simple present indicative of impair. Impairing, present participle and gerund of impair. Impairings, plural of impairing. Impairment, the result of being impaired. Impairments, plural of impairment. Immerse, third person singular simple present indicative of impair. Impala, Chevrolet Impala. Impala lily, Adenia multiflorum, is succulent African tree used to make poisons. Impalas, plural of impala. Impalatable, unpalatable. Impalation, impalement. Impale, to pierce something with any long, pointed object. Impaled, pinned to something by piercing. Impalefection. Gene delivery by impalement using nanomaterials. Impalement, the act of torturing or executing someone by impaling them on a sharp stake. Impalements, plural of impalement. Impaler, one who impales. Impalers, plural of impaler. Impales, third person singular simple present indicative of impale. Impaleth, third person singular simple present indicative of impale. Impaling, present participle and gerund of impale. Impalings, plural of impaling. Impalisade, to fence with pales. Impalisaded, simple past and past participle of impalisade. Impalisades, third person singular simple present indicative of impalisade. Impalisading, present participle and gerund of impalisade. Impala, dated form of impala. Imbalance, plural of impala. Empallid, to make pallid, to blanch. Empallided, simple past and past participle of empallid. Empalliding, present participle and gerund of empallid. Empallids, third person singular simple present indicative of empallid. Ima, to grasp or hold in the hand. Impond, simple past and past participle of impalm. Impalming, present participle and gerund of impalm. Impalms, third person singular simple present indicative of impalm. Impalpabilities, plural of impalpability. Impalpability, the quality of being impalpable, intangibility. Impalpable, incapable of being touched or felt, incorporeal, intangible. Impalpably, in an impalpable manner. Empalcid, simple past and past participle of empalcy. Empalces, third person singular simple present indicative of empalcy, to strike with palsy, to paralyze, to deaden. Impalsy, present participle and gerund of impalsy. Impallidism, a disease state affecting the inhabitants of pallidal marshy areas. Impennate, to embeddy in bed, especially in the bed of the Eucharist. Impannated, simple past and past participle of impannate. Impannates, third person singular simple present indicative of impannate. Impannating, present participle and gerund of impannate. Impanation, the actual, substantial presence of the body of Christ with the bread and wine of the sacrament of the Lord's Supper, as opposed to transubstantiation. Impannator, one who holds the doctrine of impannation. Impannators, plural of impannator. Impan, obsolete form of impannate. Impained, simple past and past participle of impain. Immanal, to enroll jurors, for example from a jury pool, to register the names of jurors on a panel or official list. Impanel, simple past and past participle of impanel. Impaneling, present participle and gerund of impanel. Impanel, simple past and past participle of impanel. Impaneling, present participle and gerund of impanel. Impanelment, the act or process of impaneling or the state of being impaneled. Impanelments, plural of impanelment. Impanels, third person singular simple present indicative of impanel. Imbayans, third person singular simple present indicative of impain. Impaining, present participle and simple present indicative of impanel. Imbayans, third person singular simple present indicative of impain. Impaining, present participle and gerund of impain. Impanel, alternative form of impanel. Impanel, simple past and past participle of impanel. Impaneling, present participle and gerund of impanel. Impanel, simple past and past participle of impanel. Impaneling, present participle and gerund of impanel. Impanels, third person singular simple present indicative of impanel. Impapyrated, written or recorded on or as if on papyrus. Imparadise, to place in paradise, to put in a state like paradise, to make supremely happy. Imparadise, simple past and past participle of imparadise. Imparadises, third person singular simple present indicative of imparadise. Imparadising, present participle and gerund of imparadise. Imparalleled, unparalleled. Imperisyllabic, misspelling of imperisyllabic. Impardonable, unpardonable. Impardonably, unpardonably. Imparadigitate, having an odd number of fingers or toes. Imparipinnate, pinnate with a single leaflet at the apex. Imparipinnately, in an imparipinnate manner. Imperisyllabic, not having the same number of syllables in all its inflections, especially of Greek or Latin nouns. For example, the Latin word pars, which has the genitive form partes. Imperisyllabics, plural of imperisyllabic. Imparities, plural of imparity. Imparity, inequality. Impark, to enclose or confine in, or as if in, a park. Impart, simple past and past participle of impark. Imparking, present participle and gerund of impark. Imparks, third person singular simple present indicative of impark. Imparo, to hold discourse, to parley. Imparlance, discussion, especially before some action is taken, conference, debate. Imparlances, plural of imparlance. Imparled, simple past and past participle of imparl. Imparle, present participle and gerund of imparl. Imparls, third person singular simple present indicative of imparl. Embarrass, having never given birth. Imparsimonious, not parsimonious. Imparsiony, presented, instituted, and inducted into a rectory and in full possession. Imparsonies, plural of imparsony. Impart, to give or bestow, for example, a quality or property. Impartable, capable of being imparted. Impartance, archaic form of impartation. Impartances, plural of impartance. Impartation, the act of imparting something or the thing imparted. Impartations, plural of impartation. Imparted, simple past and past participle of impart. Imparter, one who imparts. Imparters, plural of imparter. Impartus, second person singular simple present indicative of impart. Imparteth, third person singular simple present indicative of impart. Impartial, treating all parties, rivals, or disputants equally, not partial, not bias. Impartialism, a palsy of being impartial. Impartialis, a proponent of impartialism. Impartialists, plural of impartialists. Impartialities, plural of impartiality. Impartiality, the quality of being impartial, fairness. Impartially, in an impartial manner, fairly. Impartialness, the quality of being impartial. Impartibility, the quality of being incapable of division into parts, indivisibility. Impartible, not partible, not subject to partition, indivisible. Impartibly, so as not to be parted or divided. Imparticipable, not participable. In particular, in particular. Imparting, present participle and gerund of impart. Impartings, plural of imparting. Impartite, undivided. Impartment, the act of imparting something or the thing imparted, disclosure. Impartments, Plural of impartment. Imparts. Third person singular simple present indicative of impart. Impassibilities. Plural of impassibility. Impassibility. The state or quality of being impassible. Impassible. Incapable. Of being passed over, crossed, or negotiated. Impassibleness. Impassibility. The state or quality of being impassible. Impassibly. In an impassable manner. Impasse. A road with no exit, a cul-de-sac. Impasses. Plural of impasse. Impassibilities. Plural of impassibility. Impassibility. The state or condition of being impassible. Impassible. Unable to feel emotion, impassive. Impassibleness. Impassibility. Impassively. In an impassable manner. Impassion. Make passionate, instill passion in. Impassionable. Excitable or sensitive or susceptible to strong emotion. Impassionate. Filled with passion, impassioned. Impassionative. Simple past and past participle of impassionate. Impassionately. In an impassionate manner. Impassionateness. The quality of being passionate lacking passion. Impassionate. Third person singular simple present indicative of impassionate. Impassionating. Present participle and gerund of impassionate. Impassioned. Filled with intense emotion or passion. Fervent. Impassionately. In an impassioned manner. Impassionedness. The quality of being impassioned. Impassioning. Present participle and gerund of impassion. Impassionment. The state of being impassioned. Impassions. Third person singular simple present indicative of impassion. Impassive. Having or revealing no emotion. Impassively. In an impassive manner. Impassiveness. The state of being impassive. Impassivities. Plural of impassivity. Impassivity. The state of being impassive. Impasta. Pasta analog created by using ingredients that are not grains, i.e. semolina, maize, rice, or grain substitutes, i.e. potato, quinoa, such as a sheet of pasta analog made out of gelatin. Impastation. The act of making into paste. Impastations. Plural of impastation. Impastato. A surname from Italian in turn from Sicilian. Impaste. To knead, to make into paste, to concrete. Impasted. Simple past and past participle of impastes. Impastes. Third person singular simple present indicative of impasse. Impasting. Present participle and gerund of impasse. Impasto. The use of a thick-bodied paint to create peaks and crests that physically extend from the surface of a painting. Impasto. Painted with an impasto. Impastos. Third person singular simple present indicative of impasto. Impastoing. Present participle and gerund of impasto. Impastor. Someone who pretends to be a pastor, a false teacher. Impastors. Plural of impastor. Impastos. Plural of impasto. Impasture. To place in a pasture. Impasture. Simple past and past participle of impasture. Impastures. Third person singular simple present indicative of impasture. Impasturing, present participle and gerund of impasture. Impasivong, a municipality of Buchanan, Philippines. Impatency, the condition or state of not being patent, usually undesirably so, that is, where patency is expected, thus usually synonymous with ashriya and imperforation. Impatent, not patent, not open, as impaternate, fatherless, having been born through parthenogenesis. Impatible, impassible. Impatience, the quality of being impatient, lacking patience, restlessness and intolerance of delays, anxiety and eagerness, especially to begin something. Impatiences, plural of impatience. Impatiency, impatience. Impatiens, any of various ornamental plants of the genus Impatiens. Impatient, restless, short of temper, and intolerant of delays. Impatiently, in an impatient manner. Impatientness, the quality of being impatient. Unpatriotic, synonym of unpatriotic. Impatronize, to make lord, ruler, or master. Impatronize, simple past and past participle of impatronize. Impatronizes, third person singular simple present indicative of impatronize. Impatronizing, present participle and gerund of impatronize. Impev, to pave. Impaved, simple past and past part. Impaves, third person singular simple present indicative of impave. Impave, fearless, undaunted. Impavidity, the quality of being impaved. Impavidly, fearlessly. Impavidness, the state of being impavid, fearlessness, bravery. Impaving, present participle and gerund of impave. Envy, to place an item into pawn. Being impavid, fearlessness, bravery. Impaving, present participle and gerund of impave. Envy, to place an item into pawn. Impawned, simple past and past participle of impawn. Impawning, present participle and gerund of impawn. Impawns, third person singular simple present indicative of impawn. Impeach, to hinder, impede, or prevent. Impeachability, the state or condition of being impeachable. Impeachable, able to be impeached of a person. Impeach, simple past and past participle of impeach. Impeacher, one who impeaches. Impeachers, plural of impeacher. Impeaches, third person singular simple present indicative of impeach. Impeaches, second person singular simple present indicative of impeach. Impeache, third person singular simple present indicative of impeach. Impeaching, present participle and gerund of impeach. Impeachment, the act of calling into question or challenging the accuracy or propriety of something. Impeachment worthy, of such character as to warrant impeachment. Impeachments, plural of impeachment. Impeachment worthy, deserving impeachment, or of an act of such character as to warrant impeachment. Impeaky, relating to impeachment. Impierce, obsolete spelling of impierce. Impierced, simple past and past participle of impierce. Impierces, third person singular simple present indicative of impierce. Impiercing, present participle and gerund of impierce. Imperil, to form into pearls or make pearly. Impearled, simple past and past participle of impearl. Impearling, present participle and gerund of impearl. Impearls, third person singular simple present indicative of impearl. Impeccabilities, plural of impeccability. Impeccability, the property of being impeccable. Impeccable, perfect, without faults, flaws, or errors. Impeccableness, quality of being impeccable. Impeccably, in a perfect or flawless manner. Impeccance, alternative form of impeccancy. Impeccancy, the quality of being sinless. Impeccant, without sin, impeccable. Impecuniary, impecunious. Impecuniosities, plural of impecuniosity. Impecuniosity, the state of being impecunious, impecuniousness. Impecunious, lacking money. Impecuniously, in an impecunious manner. Impecuniousness, the property of being impecunious. Impecunities, plural of impecunity. Impecunity, the state of having very little money. A creature without feet. Impedance, the act of impeding, that which impedes, a hindrance. Impedance coil, a coil of wire designed to provide impedance in an electric circuit. Impedance coils, plural of impedance coil. Impedance mismatch, a set of conceptual and technical difficulties that are often encountered when a relational database is being served by an object-oriented application program, particularly because objects or class definitions must be mapped to database tables defined by a relational schema. Impedance mismatches, plural of impedance mismatch. Impedance plethysmography, a technique in which the volume of segments of the body can be continuously measured via electrical impedance, used to study the cardiovascular system and other physiological functions. Impedance symmetric, relating to impedance symmetry. Impedance symmetry, the measurement of impedance, especially that of the inner ear to sound. Impedances, plural of impedance. Impede, to get in the way of, to hinder. Impede, simple past and past participle of impede. Impedance, misspelling of impedance. Impedantiometric, relating to the measurement of impedance. Ilfer, one who impedes. Impters, plural of impter. Impedes, third person singular simple present indicative of impede. Impedeth, third person singular simple present indicative of impede. Impedable, capable of being impeded or hindered. Impedient, serving to make a marriage illicit but valid. Impediment, a hindrance, that which impedes or obstructs progress, impedance. Impediment of crime, synonym of crimen. Impedimenta, equipment intended for an activity that serves as more of a hindrance than a help, especially military baggage. Impedimental, of the nature of an impediment, hindering or obstructing. Impedimented, impeded, afflicted with an impediment. Impediments, plural of impediment. Impediments of crime, plural of impediment of crime. Impedimetric, relating to the measurement of impedance. Impedimetrically, in an impedimetric manner. Impeding, present participle and gerund of impede. Impedingly, so as to impede or hinder. Impedi, hindered, obstructed. Impedited, simple past and past participle of impedi. Impedites, third person singular simple present indicative of impedite. Impediting, present participle and gerund of impedite. Impedition, that which impedes, a hindrance. Impeditions, plural of impedition. Impeditive, causing or being a hindrance, impeding. Impedivities, plural of impedivity. Impedivity, specific impedance, especially the ratio of a pressure factor associated with a wave at any given point in a medium to the velocity factor at that point. Outs, plural of impt. Impede, obsolete form of impede. Impede, simple past and past participle of impede. Impede, present participle and gerund of impede. Impedes, third person singular simple present indicative of impede. Demek, a Burundian beer made from sorghum. Demel, to urge a person, to press on, to incite to action or motion via intrinsic motivation. Impelled, simple past and past participle of impel. Impellence, the condition of being impellant. Impellances, plural of impellants. Impellant, having the quality of being impelling. Impellants, plural of impellant. Impeller, something which or someone who impels. Impellers, plural of impeller. Impelleth, third person singular simple present indicative of impel. Impelling, present participle and gerund of impel. Impellingness, quality of being impelling. Impeller, alternative form of impeller. Impellers, plural of impeller. Impels, third person singular simple present indicative of impel. Imben, to shut up or enclose as in a pen. Imbend, to hang or be suspended over something, to overhang. Impended, simple past and past participle of impend. Impendence, alternative form of impendency. Impendencies, plural of impendency. Impendency, the state of impending. Impendent, impending, threatening. Impendeth, third person singular simple present indicative of impend. Impending, approaching, drawing near, about to happen or expected to happen. Impendingly, in an impending manner, forthcomingly, soon to come. Impendings, plural of impending. Impends, third person singular simple present indicative of impend. Impenetrabilities, plural of impenetrability. Impenetrability, the characteristic of being impenetrable. Invulnerability. Impenetrable, not penetrable. Impenetrableness, the quality of being impenetrable. Impenetrables, plural of impenetrable. Impenetrably, in an impenetrable manner or state, imperviously. Impenetralia, a mass of impenetrable text or ideas. Impenetrate, to penetrate into. Impenetrated, simple past and past participle of impenetrate. Impenetrates, third person singular simple present indicative of impenetrate. Impenetrating, present participle and gerund of impenetrate. Impenetration, penetration into something. Impenetrations, plural of impenetration. Impenetrative, not penetrative. Impenitence, the poverty of being penitent, of lacking penitence, of not be regretful of wrongs done. Impenitences, plural of impenitence. Impenitencies, plural of impenitency. Impenitency, archaic form of impenitence. Impenitent, not penitent. Specifically Christianity, not repenting of one's sins, unrepentant. Impenitently, without repentance. Impenitence, plural of impenitent. Impenetrable, incapable of repenting. Impenetrableness, the quality of being impenetrable. Impenate, characterized by short wings unsuitable for flying, covered with feathers resembling scales, as in the penguins. Embend, simple past and past participle of impen. Embedding, present participle and gerund of impen. Emmenes, lacking wings. Immense, third person singular simple present indicative of impen. Impentamine, a particular histamine antagonist. Impeel, obsolete form of impeople. Impeople, simple past and past participle of impeople. Impeoples, third person singular simple present indicative of impeople. Impeopling, present participle and gerund of impeople. Ilver, abbreviation of imperative. Imperance, alternative form of imperance. Imperances, plural of imperance. Imperent, commending. Imperit, done by express direction, not involuntary, commanded. Imperated, alternative form of imperit. Imperation, the action of governing or commanding, governance. Imperations, plural of imperation. Imperatival, of or pertaining to the imperative mood. Imperative, essential, crucial, extremely important. Imperative language, any programming language that consists mostly of a series of commands, typically assigning values to objects, a procedural language. Extremely important. Imperative language, any programming language that consists mostly of a series of commands, typically assigning values to objects, a procedural language. Imperative languages, plural of imperative language. Imperative mood, the grammatical mood generally expressing a command, though also used to express a request or permission. Imperative moods, plural of imperative mood. Imperative programming, a programming paradigm that describes the computation in statements. Imperatively, in an imperative manner. Imperativeness, the state or condition of being imperative. Imperatives, plural of imperative. Imperativist, a proponent of imperativism. Imperativists, plural of imperativists. Imperato, a surname from Italian. Imperator, the reigning emperor, male equivalent of imperatrix. Imperators, plural of imperator. Imperatorio, commanding, authoritative. Imperatorially, in an imperatorial manner. Imperatorian, imperial. Imperator, a Furicamaran isolated from Urina lobata, angelica, archangelica, and various other plants. Imperatorius, imperial, befitting a ruler. Imperators, plural of imperator. Imperatorship, the state or business of an imperator. Imperatorships, plural of imperatorship. Imperatory, imperative. Imperatos, plural of imperato. Imperatoxin, any of a small group of peptide toxins present in the venom of the scorpion Pandinus imperator. Imperatoxins, plural of imperatoxin. Imperatrices, plural of imperatrix. Imperatrix, the reigning empress, female equivalent of imperator. Imperceivable, that cannot be perceived, imperceptible. Imperceivableness, the quality of being imperceivable. Imperceivably, imperceptibly. Imperceived, not perceived, unperceived. Imperceptibility, the state or quality of being imperceptible. Imperceptible, not perceptible, not detectable, too small in magnitude to be observed. Imperceptibleness, the quality of being imperceptible. Imperceptibles, plural of imperceptible. Imperceptibly, not noticeably, such that it cannot be detected through being too small or too fast, etc. Imperception, lack of perception, failure to perceive. Imperceptions, plural of imperception. Imperceptive, unable to perceive. Imperceptively, imperceptibly. Imperceptiveness, the quality of being imperceptive. Imperceptivity, inability to perceive. Impercipience, the quality of being impercipient. Impercipiences, plural of impercipience. Impercipient, lacking perception, unable to perceive. Impercipiently, in an impercipient manner, lacking perception. Impertible, not destructible. Imperance, impertinence. Imperances, plural of imperance. Imperf, abbreviation of imperfect. Imperf, abbreviation of imperfect. Imperfect, not perfect. Imperfect authentic cadence, a cadence that does not fulfill the requirements to be considered a perfect authentic cadence. Imperfect fungi, synonym of fungi imperfecti. Imperfect indicative, the imperfect tense in the indicative mood. Imperfect indicatives, plural of imperfect indicative. Imperfect rhyme, a form of rhyme with some sound similarities, but not others. Imperfect rhymes, plural of imperfect rhyme. Imperfect subjunctive, the imperfect tense in the subjunctive mood. Imperfect subjunctives, plural of imperfect subjunctive. Imperfect tense, a tense used to describe a past action that is ongoing, incomplete, or continuous, or coincident with another action. Imperfect tenses, plural of imperfect tense. Imperfect time, a system of timing in mensural notation in which a breve is equal to two semibreves. Imperfectibility, the quality of not being perfectible, of being forever imperfect. Imperfectible, alternative spelling of imperfectible. Imperfected, simple past and past participle of imperfect. Imperfector, comparative form of imperfect, more imperfect. Imperfectus, superlative form of imperfect, most imperfect. Imperfectibility, alternative spelling of imperfectibility. Imperfectible, incapable of perfecting. Imperfectibly, in a way that cannot be perfected. Imperfecting, present participle and gerund of imperfect. Imperfection, those qualities or features that are imperfect, the characteristic, state, or quality of being imperfect. Imperfectionists, satisfied with imperfection. Imperfectionists, plural of imperfectionists. Imperfections, plural of imperfection. Imperfective, of relating to or having the properties of the imperfective aspect. Imperfective aspect, a feature of a verb which denotes that its action or condition does not have a fixed temporal boundary, but is habitual, unfinished, continuous, repetitive, or in progress. Imperfectively, in an imperfective manner or context. Imperfectiveness, the state or quality of being imperfective. Imperfectives, plural of imperfective. Imperfectivization, the creation of imperfective verb forms from perfective verb stems. Imperfectivizations, plural of imperfectivization. Imperfectly, in an imperfect manner or degree, not fully or completely. Imperfectness, the state of being imperfect. Imperfectnesses, imperfectly, in an imperfect manner or degree, not fully or completely. Imperfectness, the state of being imperfect. Imperfectnesses, plural of imperfectness. Imperfects, plural of imperfect. Imperforable, incapable of being perforated. Imperforate, not perforated. Imperforated, not perforated, having no opening or aperture. Imperforate. Imperforates, plural of imperforate. Imperforation, the state of being without perforation. Imperfs, plural of imperf. Imperia, a town and associated province on the coast of Liguria, Italy. Imperial, flipping of Imperial Japanese. Imperial Aramaic, the chronolect of the Aramaic language mid-8th century, late 4th century BCE, intermediate between Old Aramaic and Middle Aramaic, that was used as a language of public life and administration in the late Neo-Assyrian Empire from the reign of King Tiglath-Pileser Roman III R. 745-727 BCE onward, the Neo-Babylonian Empire and the Achaemenid Empire until the latter's campus by Alexander the Great in 330 BC. Imperial Beach, a city in San Diego County, California, United States. Imperial Biscuit, synonym of Empire Biscuit. Imperial Biscuits, plural of Imperial Biscuit. Imperial Circle, an administrative grouping within the Holy Roman Empire in its early modern period, primarily for the organization of common defensive structure and the collection of taxes. Imperial Circles, plural of Imperial Circle. Imperial Cookie, synonym of Empire Biscuit. Imperial Cookies, plural of Imperial Cookie. Imperial County, one of 58 counties in California, United States. County seat, El Centro. Imperial Cult, alternative lettercase form of Imperial Cult. Imperial Cult, a form of state religion in which an emperor or different type of monarch is worshipped as a demigod or deity, basically a god-emperor. Imperial Cipher, a monogram of an emperor or empress used as an identifying mark to indicate imperial authority. Imperial ciphers, plural of imperial cipher, Imperial decree, a decree issued by a sovereign. Imperial decree is plural of imperial decree. Imperial disease, a disease that arises from colonial exploration and causes significant harm to an empire, especially the British Empire. Imperial diseases, plural of imperial disease. Imperial drill, a linen fabric having 2 threads in the warp and 3 in the filling. Imperial drills, plural of imperial drill. Imperial examination, a civil service examination system in Imperial China to select candidates for the state bureaucracy. Imperial examinations, plural of imperial examination. Imperial Flanders, the smaller part of the Countship of Flanders, east of the Scheldt Escaut, for which the Count did not pay homage as vassal of the French king but to the Holy Roman Emperor. Imperial gallon, a unit of measure for liquids used in the British Isles and in some Commonwealth countries, equivalent to 8 imperial pints, 4.55 liters, or 1.20 US gallons. Imperial gallons, plural of imperial gallon. Imperial highness, the style of a prince, princess, or someone of equivalent imperial rank. Imperial India Pale Ale, synonym of Double India Pale Ale. Imperial India Pale Ales, plural of Imperial India Pale Ale. Imperial Jade, an emerald green jadeite mineral gemstone. Imperial Jades, plural of Imperial Jade. Imperial Japan, synonym of Empire of Japan. Imperial Japanese, of or pertaining to the Japanese Empire. Imperial Knight, a feudal knight who held a fief in the Holy Roman Empire directly from the emperor, hence was entitled to representation in the imperial diet. Imperial Knights, plural of Imperial Knight. Imperial Manila, Metro Manila and its surroundings, as generally described in the other provinces in the Philippines. Imperial Math, a moth equals imperialis. Imperial Mass, plural of imperial moth. Imperial Pint, a unit of liquid volume in the imperial system equal to 0.568 liters and divided into 20 fluid ounces. Imperial Pints, plural of imperial pint. Imperial Shag, a species of bird, Leucocarboatriceps, found in South America. Imperial Shags, plural of imperial shag. Imperial Stormtrooper, a member of a fictional corps of authoritarian, armor-clad soldiers in the Star Wars universe. Imperial Stormtrooper, alternative lettercase form of Imperial Stormtrooper. Imperial Stormtroopers, plural of Imperial Stormtrooper. Imperial Stormtroopers, plural of Imperial Stormtrooper. Imperial Stout, a strong, dark beer of a style originally brewed in the 18th century in London for export to the Imperial Court of Catherine, Roman II of Russia. Imperial Stouts, plural of Imperial Stout. Imperial System, a system of measurement in use in the United States, United Kingdom, and certain other countries. Imperial Systems, plural of Imperial System. Imperial Valley, a valley of Southern California lying in Imperial and Riverside counties with an urban area centered on the Imperial We, synonym of majestic, plural, and loosely synonymous with royal we and editorial we. Imperial Wizard, the highest-ranking leader of the Ku Klux Klan. Imperial Wizards, plural of Imperial Wizard. Royal, pertaining to the central government of Austria-Hungary. Imperial, a surname from Italian. Imperials, plural of imperial. Imperialize, alternative form of imperialize. Imperialize, simple past and past participle of imperialize. Imperializes, third person singular simple present indicative of imperialize. Imperializing, present participle and gerund of imperialize. Imperialism, the policy of forcefully extending a nation's authority by territorial gain or by the establishment of economic and political dominance over other nations. Imperialisms, plural of imperialism. Imperialist, an agent or official working on behalf of the Empire of Japan. Imperialistic, of or pertaining to imperialism or imperialist, favoring imperialism. Imperialistically, in an imperialistic manner. Imperialists, plural of imperialists. Imperialities, plural of imperiality. Imperiality, imperial power. Imperialization, the process of imperializing. Imperialize, to invest with imperial authority, character, or style. Imperialize, simple past and past participle of imperialize. Imperializes, third person singular simple present indicative of imperialize. Imperializing, present participle and gerund of imperialize. Imperial, obsolete form of imperial. Imperially, in an imperial manner. Imperialness, qualitative imperial. Imperials, plural of imperial. Imperiality, the rank, status, power or authority of an imperial. Empirical, misspelling of empirical. Empirically, misspelling of empirically. Imperil, to risk or hazard. Imperiled, at risk of becoming extinct. Imperiler, one who imperils something. Imperilers, plural of imperiler. Imperiling, present participle and gerund of imperil. Imperilings, plural of imperiling. Imperiled, simple past and past participle of imperil, alternative spelling of imperiled. Imperiler, alternative form of imperiler. Imperilers, plural of imperiler. Imperiling, present participle and gerund of imperil. Imperilings, plural of imperiling. Imperilment, the act of imperiling or the state of being imperiled. Imperilments, plural of imperilment. Imperils, third person singular simple present indicative of imperil. Imperiogenesis, the formation of an empire. Imperious, domineering, arrogant, or overbearing. Imperiavely, in an imperious manner, in the style of an emperor. Imperiousness, equalitative imperious. Imperiousnesses, plural of imperiousness. Imperishability, the quality of being imperishable. Imperishable, not perishable, not subject to decay, enduring permanently. Imperishableness, the characteristic or property of being imperishable. Imperishables, plural of imperishable. Imperishably, in an imperishable manner. Imperia, supreme power, dominion. Imperior and imperial, a state within a state, inclusive of deep states or other forces which operate with sovereign-like impunity within a polity. Imperias, plural of imperium. Impermanence, lack of permanence or continued duration. Impermanence as plural of impermanence. Impermanencies, plural of impermanency. Impermanency, alternative form of impermanence. Impermanent, not permanent, unperpetual. Impermanently, in an impermanent manner. Impermeabilities, plural of impermeability. Impermeability, the quality of being impermeable. Impermeabilization, the act of impermeabilizing. Impermeabilizations, plural of impermeabilization. Impermeabilize, to make impermeable. Impermeabilized, simple past and past participle of impermeabilize. Impermeabilizes, third person singular simple present indicative of impermeabilize. Impermeabilizing, present participle and gerund of impermeabilize. Impermeable, impossible to permeate. Impermeableness, impermeability. Impermeably, in an impermeable manner. Impermeate, that cannot permeate through a specified semipermeable membrane. Impernizator, a device in a steam engine for forcing lubricating oil uniformly into the cylinder. Impermeators, plural of impermeator. Impermissibilities, plural of impermissibility. Impermissibility, the state or condition of being impermissible. Impermissible, not permissible, not to be permitted or allowed. Impermissibly, in a way or to an extent that is not permissible. Impermisso, not permissive. Impermissively, in an impermissive manner. Impermissiveness, the quality of being impermissive. Imperse, abbreviation of impersonal. Imperse, abbreviation of impersonal. Imperscriptable, unrecorded anywhere. Imperscrutable,